everybody knows who this is. This is Elizabeth uh, Windsor Mountbatten and the royal princes and all that stuff. They're a bunch of thugs. They're war criminals. They should be in prison for life for war crimes. At this point, nobody can do it but God, so there you go. Her father, I'm going to go this far on this one because you can't get it on the tapes. The illegal George VI, which means Elizabeth's illegal. 1939, planning my kidnapping. My father's Edward VIII. The real one. This is Georgia O'Keeffe. My father married her, Georgia's sister. Georgia's my aunt, Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe, from Madison, Wisconsin. He never married Wallace Simpson. A double did. She was an American spy. What I want to say, I wrote about mind control murders back 76, really, till April Fool's Day of 80 when they tried to kill me again. Larry Flint flew me out there later when the KAL that Larry McDonald, Congressman Doctor, was shot down by the Russians. It veered into Russian airspace. Now, I'd written about him in the book, and he was part of what happened to me April Fool's Day of 80, trying to kill me. So now then, what I wanted to get to here was what preceded that, and that was a living hell what they did to me April the 1st of 80, and all of it that happened. And I'm illegally taken across the state line where I passed a background check by Sheriff Patterson. Then I worked for the district attorney, Fred Simpson, and the Watergate. They role-played the Watergate tapes and deleting the 18 minutes and all that. 1972, let me say this, Henry Kissinger made the statement that power is the ultimate aphrodisiac. He served as National Security Advisor and Secretary of State under NIXON&FORD administration. It was during this time, and that's who was on the other end, giving the orders to lobotomize me to Victor Gonzalez and a bunch of thugs. They were doctors, white-coated. It was at a clinic in College Park, just outside the suburb of Atlanta, and it's where the streetcars, the tracks all came together there, and it was still standing, that clinic, back in, that's a long time ago now, back in 82 or 80, yeah. So I don't know, I'm sure it's torn down now. But anyway, I was drugged by Victor Gonzalez, and he's still practicing, as far as I know, in and around Atlanta. Child psychiatrist, by the way. But I was drugged and taken there, and if the demands weren't met by the British, then they lobotomized me. They had me all laid out, drugged, couldn't move. I knew what they were doing. And waiting for the phone call to come through that said the Brits crossed the palms with whatever was asked. So the phone call came through, and I remember Gonzalez and his sneering eyes looking down in my face like, well, you made it this time. So that was, they talk about the FBI, the letter I got from the U.S. Attorney Harper, June the 23rd of 79. And again, I'm going to state that's the year not the year, but the date of birth my father had, June the 23rd, they used. But that's when Harper said national security involved ongoing investigation. So Henry Kissinger, that's part of the Illuminati that's in power now, the global, part of my uncle who helped kidnap me. Roosevelt, that's 39 the year I was born. And this, some people would get mad at me if I called her name. God knows I hope the world has to watch this whole thing, what money buys you. Do you get off on money? Elizabeth, evidently you do. You destroyed my country. You destroyed my family and put me to where I was tortured all my life, where you can run around with a bouquet of flowers in your hand. Anyway, in the book, real quick, I'm going to put this, and I'm bouncing around because I'm in pretty bad shape. I'm 76 years old, if that wasn't enough. But This is, you think the vets here would start questioning this, and this is true. And some of these, I don't have them laid out now. I have before on YouTube and Instagram and all that, Facebook. But these particular mind control murders I wrote about way back then, and they've continued for a reason. I won't get into that anymore. I've told that. But it's how the murders are done with programming and mind control. And this is what Timothy McVeigh, biochip twins, he died. They tried him and killed him for the Oklahoma City bombing. He said the U.S. Army implanted him with a chip up his rear. Well, this is the ones that can be done in, told, there's lists and lists of it, but homes of Aurora, Colorado, and the Grand Theater, and I could go on, the mass killings or one killing. What it is, you can program a guy, a pilot, or you can put a federal marshal on there supposed to protect. You can have given them mind control, hypnotic suggestions if you want to get it down to that. It's programming, and it takes your willpower away. And you can have them go into the ocean. You can have them, you can do anything to them. The pilot, fly, off course, any of it. It's the limit to mind control use in murdering is unreal. Drive your car off into the ocean or river, excuse me, and I could go list you some that's happened to with the media, inside the media. But anyway, the media is crooked as heck. They're jumping on Donald Trump right now, and my God, the crooked. Can you imagine if this is all told? The media has always known it. They'll slam the door in your face. So I'm sure I didn't get all that I wanted to on here, and it's sounding like a mess, I suppose. But I did want to say this again. Henry Kissinger was the person in the 18-minute gap in the Watergate tapes. He was National Security Advisor and Secretary of State under NIXON&FORD administration. He said the power is the ultimate aphrodisiac to him. So he gets off on it. In war, I think that was to complete the sentence. Sentence got off on war. I wanted to remind you, and maybe one day you get to see what was being done to me here while this woman run around spending my money and taking down my country. Diana, I'm not going to call her princess. I think it was her clothes, her clothes that I paid for, and the Brits paid for, that were over here being auctioning off. I'm not sure about the reason she was here. But there was a picture I kept for a long time, Henry Kissinger shaking hands with her at this gala, this whole thing they had. Beautiful clothes, everybody there with money and everything. And I forgot, I think I was living on top of the mountain up here, freezing and starving, just to have a place to be. Anyway, Kissinger said to her, shook hands with her and said, I think you should be queen. So you've got the Illuminati, the Jews. I want you to know that this is the Jews, and I hope you know what they did to me, a baby, when they brought me here to this country and didn't stop. And no, it wasn't okay to do it to me and my kids, and I hope all of you have to see it. I pray that before I die, and it would take God to do it, that all this is spread eagle out before the court, a court of law, and you have to suck it up, because it is hideous. In plain sight, what's been allowed to happen to me and my sons and my country. Look at my country now. It's overrun with refugees, and who brought all this about? Who has gone in to Assad and Saddam, and it's supposed to be the evil Axis and all this gone in, and you know, none of this was spread like this until the United States, and then they bring in the NATO alliance, and then the UN and all this, which is part of illegal treaties that were signed after they kidnapped me and illegally took down my father. He didn't even marry Wallace Simpson. The whole thing was a lie. A 99-year seal put on it to cover up the lies. My birthright and my father's illegal takedown. So the treaties are illegal, but they've all gone, nobody